Okay. What else are we going to do today? I forget what else what else we had planned. Oh, oh, the tutorial today. I can't end the stream without our tutorial. And Ruruchi as well was on our stream chats and was asking about songwriting. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about songwriting. So if you want to pick maybe 2 or 3 songs that you know are on my originals list, if there's 2 or 3 songs there, if you want to know the process behind writing those songs, I'm happy to share that with you today. Yeah, well, it's because you participate so much, Ruruchi. So if you participate this much, it gives me a lot of information to go on and help out. So you're asking about writing writing music, so I'm more than happy to help you with that. Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna share that with you, so we can talk about lullaby. Okay, let's do it. Okay. So I shared this story. I think it was in Lexi's chat when she was on stream. And this was the easiest song to write. So this is not an example of what most songs are going to be like to write. And my process is a couple of different things. Sometimes you have these magical moments where it's like the universe is speaking to you, and the universe is like, here is this song, this is how it goes. And this was one of those songs. So it's actually not a really great example. It's not a super great example of that. But it was the so that first cover that Lexi put on our Discord of Lullaby. Oh, what time is it for me right now? Yeah, it's 5:40 here. So yeah, we're 6 hours behind. Yes, come to Canada for an ugly sweater party. So it was the melody that came to my mind first on that song. And this song wrote itself in 20 minutes. So that's why it's not a good example of what it's like to write a song, because it was one of those, I couldn't sleep. It was 2 o'clock in the morning, and then all of a sudden something just told me, you have to go write this. You have to go write this song down right now. It's the only song that I've ever written that was this easy. That's the only time that it's ever happened. And so for those of you that don't know Lullaby, I'll sing just a little bit. Feels like I've waited a lifetime. I've been searching to find you, to know the bliss in the sound of your heartbeat, as the hurried beat of mine slows. Please let your voice be the last that I hear tonight. Please keep your arms around me till the morning light. And the chorus goes on like that. So, hearing that melody in my head, I knew I couldn't just let it sit on that one chord the whole time. Like, you still need that momentum in the song, right? You can't just have it on the one chord for the duration of the chorus. So it was originally only on that E. So it's on capo 2, but with a D chord, making it an E. But if you listen to the melody was in my head is, please let your voice be the last that I hear tonight. And you can do that whole thing on a D. Be the last that I hear tonight. Please keep your arms around me till the morning light. Super boring though for you guys to listen to. So if you're ever finding when you're songwriting that you just have this tendency with whatever melody you've written that it's going to stay on the same, then just do variations of that chord, because I'm still able to keep that, and then just making minor modifications with the placement, because these are all just variations on that D chord, but it gives it some movement. And so you guys wanted to hear about shipwreck too. And that, it's just give your brain some space sometimes. Use your phone to record really creepy ideas that you have in the middle of the night and you have to be quiet. So that first cover that Lexi posted, I was like, that's exactly what it sounded like when I wrote it originally, just whispering into my phone. Because I didn't want to wake anybody because it was so late at night. And then shipwreck. So this, a lot of the writing, it comes from the melody first, and then I'm finding the chords after. That's how I find it easier to write music. And the lyrics don't need to be tied to the music right away. So for most of these pieces, it's not about one thing. And that's also one thing that's really nice. It's one thing that's really, really super nice. When you're doing media interviews and people are like, what is this song about? And it's so intrusive because a lot of people... yeah, I've got a super creepy whole album on my phone of me just being like, please let your voice be the last that I hear tonight. It's just me whispering to not wake up anybody because I can't sleep and there's melodies in my head and I'm like, I need to record this immediately. It will happen at super inconvenient times. Run was written in my head while I was driving and I had to pull off at the next exit and find a parking lot so I could just record it into my phone and write down whatever mad scribbles were in my mind. So this is why it's a lot easier if you're going to create a creative bank account. So for anybody who's creative, you know you're going to have a good week and you're going to have a terrible 6 months where you're just not creative at all. That's it. You need something else that you can draw on. And one thing that I found really helpful was getting into this habit that a teacher had suggested to me of writing first thing in the morning for 5 minutes. So even if it is just trying to remember your dreams and going through that exercise, and then writing for 5 minutes at night. And I want you to just do stream of consciousness. It's not like, I need to write a polished song, because that puts too much pressure on you writing. I just want you to write your thoughts, write things you remember from the day, write down colors, objects. Somebody who was really, really fun to read about and learn about was Sia, because she does do so much writing that she sells to other artists and their hit songs. And then you think songs like Chandelier. Chandelier is such a good song, and it really, she's like, well, where did the inspiration behind that song come? You're like, I looked at a chandelier. But then you're injecting so much life experience into that inanimate object. So that's why even at the end of the night, if you're just going to write for 5 minutes before you go to bed, just write down objects, words, feelings, nothing structured. You don't have to write structure right away. I don't want you to do that to yourself. A lot of you are probably perfectionists. And you've probably been told many times in your life that you're a procrastinator, but that's not the case. Sometimes we just feel so much pressure to have something perfect right away that it's so hard to get started. And it's really hard to look at a blank piece of paper and be like, I'm going to write a song right now on this blank piece of paper. Don't do that to yourself. Just stream of consciousness, kind of dream journal thing in the morning, because your brain makes crazy connections when you're sleeping. And then 5 minutes at night. And then all of a sudden, you've got months of thoughts and experiences and things to draw on. So when you want to sit down and write a song, you're not starting looking at a blank page. Don't do it. And then when you go and you write that song and you record that song and people ask you, what's that song about? And you're like, actually, it's about 6 months worth of experiences. And it's not something that they can dig deep into. It's a song. So even Shipwreck, that was 6 months worth of random scribbles in a notebook. Well, this stream is really calling me out. No, it's not calling you out. It's calling all of us out. Because that's how we all work. I for sure can't write a song just opening up a notebook. Like that notebook right there, just looking at the blank page and be like, write a song. No, I'm going to look at this notebook that I've been making scribbles and stuff into for months and months. So you always have that. So on the side of the road when I was writing Run, I had that notebook, taking that out of my bag, I'm going to write down whatever it is I can. And then the next step, rhyme dictionary. For reals though, it's going to be your best friend if you're going to be songwriting. And then sometimes you come up with these really interesting metaphors, and just because you're trying to make a rhyme work. So it can be a good mental exercise. So yeah, have a good notebook, have a pen that you love, and then also have a rhyme dictionary. I love words so much in general, for sure. And you really expand your vocabulary that way. Anime Gold, thank you for the host. Germanico, Q Quandro, thank you both for the follows. So those are I guess my tips. What did I have written on this song? I think I only had the pre-chorus written down. Or was the end of the verse. The tide is high. My heart needs to let go. That was one line on one page, I think. Drop it in the depths. And this was written with a rhyme dictionary. And it's anchored far below. I'm like, okay, we gotta make below work. That's what we gotta do. Now I'm free. I'm free of your hold on me. But I feel like a fool. And this was at the end of a day that the only thing that I had written on this page as well was a shipwreck on a bar stool. And that became the whole song. So that's why these different things, I was just having this thought. I think that I was playing at a bar that night. And then the whole thought just went in. I'm like, okay, I gotta just write this down really quick. So sometimes it can look really weird because you're like, okay guys, BRB. But you really have to commit to your tiny little notebook and bringing it around with you and writing that stuff down. But stream of consciousness, don't put any pressure on rhyming or anything like that. Mylu, every time I tune in here, I'm confused. We're talking about songwriting. So you're welcome to ask me any song or any questions you have about songwriting. I don't want you to be confused. Everyone's like, I don't remember how to talk English anymore. Bustifer, thank you for joining us in the chat. Yes, these are tiny little dinos. They're little dinos. I'm so bad with words, but I also want to learn. A rhyme dictionary will change your life. Just even rhymezone.com. If you just go to there and just type in some random words, it'll really help. Sounds like a good mental exercise for divergent thinking. Absolutely. Yay, I'm glad that these are good tips and it's not just confusing everyone. That's a nice quote, Edward. That's awesome. Yeah. And that's just it. Turning poems into songs, especially when you haven't put any pressure on yourself to spell correctly or have correct grammar, or if you've got no rhyming, like I just want you to start from content, just tons and tons of content, and then you just kind of go through and you see what fits together. So I think that it was the chorus. It was the chorus of Run. Now I'll run from wolves who are like you, wolves in sheep's clothes like you. Oh, now baby, I'm gone, I'm gone, I'm gone. I think that was what came to me in the car. It was just the chorus. Yeah. And I was driving off to a rehearsal because I was doing some duo bar gigs to try to make some money for rent at the time. No jokes. And I was driving there and this chorus came into my head and I recorded just me singing that into my cell phone on the side of the road on the way, and then I pulled back on the highway. And I didn't just like go on the side of the road on the highway, like I pulled off into a parking lot for like a grocery store. Don't just stop your car in the middle of the highway to write a song. Don't do it. I want you to live. I have to type. There's no way I could write it down quickly enough. That's good. If that's your system, Jamie, as long as you're writing them down somewhere and you've got something to look back on. That's your creative bank account for those 6 months where nothing is coming to your brain. You're like, okay, cool. I'll look at this. This is something that I could actually use. That's awesome, Lexi. I'm glad you're writing. And it's something that I would never keep for myself. I started writing in a journal when I was 7 because my family doctor, it was pretty much like a prescription from my family doctor. Apparently I was too anxious as a kid. I was like plowing through homework. I was having extra assignments given to me from my teachers, and I don't remember it, but I recently saw one of my very good friends. She just got married, and I played at the wedding last year or a year and a half ago. It was a really beautiful wedding, and she lives out closer to the Toronto area. And when I went out there, her mom, I hadn't seen her since I was a kid as well. And she was just talking about like, oh, I remember that time that you were having a panic attack of brownies. And I'm like, what? I don't remember that, because your brain protects you from a whole lot of stuff, whole lot of stuff. So I started writing just to deal with the craziness happening in my brain. And you should do that too. You should do that too. Everybody should write. Everybody should get all their feelings out. Go make art. Go make things. It's so important for our mental health. Hi, Bernicus. Welcome to the chat. The musician life. For sure. For sure. Adam Cavill, welcome. The guitar man. Welcome to the chat. We're talking about songwriting right now. Oh yeah, I've always been a gigantic nerd. If you didn't know, big nerd, much anxious. But channeling that into art has been super, super helpful. Jay. Yeah, I'm a cool cucumber for sure. If people could use 2 words to describe me, it would be cool cucumber. Those 2 words in a sentence. Gratitude Kings. Hey! 2 more dinos that are so grateful. Thank you, Gratitude Kings. Nerds are always cool. Nerds are super cool. Be a nerd. It's awesome. Having interests, having things that you love, we need that. We need that in our lives. Abby's here. Hey, Abby. WizKid's back. Welcome. Thank you, Edward. Thank you. Yeah, for sure, Ruchi. What question did you have regarding that? I think that I said everything that I wanted to say about just creating a process for songwriting is going to help you. Get a notebook, write in it all the time. Use Rhyme Zone when you're ready to sit down. So I would wait. Spend a month, spend 2 months, and then take a look at all the things that you've been writing down. So much love. So much love. Captain Sea Turtle. Yeah, it's Ocarina of Time. That's my favorite game. So when I said that I was learning a kind of flute, the answer is Ocarina. I know. And we're building. We're almost done building the PC. So then I'll be able to do a game stream, because my laptop will explode if I try to do anything more than what I'm already asking of it. How do chord progressions work? Oh, it's completely different every single song. Every single song. I mean, you'll have some songs that it changes every beat what the chord is. But for most pop songs, you're going to find that you're playing a chord for a long time. I don't remember how that song goes. Yeah, a lot of pop music, it's not going to change very quickly. Like, it depends on what style of music you want to write. There might only be occasionally in a verse where you hit the chord once in one beat before moving on to another chord. Lots of pop music likes to keep the same chord for a longer period of time because it's less jarring to the audience that's listening to it. So for your first song, if you've never written a song, just start with those 4 basic ones, like the ones that we learned in that ukulele stream. Just start with the most basic ones that you can think. And what I found, and the reason why I started doing all of this at the beginning of the year, was also I found I was hitting a bit of a wall with writing. I feel like Chameleon was really guitar based, and then Passing Notes was really piano based because I was in so much pain I couldn't play guitar for a little bit. And even Amjad was asking about Passing Notes, which is one of those really clear examples of when you've written 2 sections on completely different days. So that's a song that I wrote those 2 parts, and then I mashed them together because I recorded this part. Here we go. I recorded this part already. Ooh, we got some vibraphone. Well done, dinos. Again, I really have to check that. Hugging the wood paneling. So this part was written on its own. And I think this part was written 2 years before the chorus. And I don't know why we float, why all I do is write these notes. I want to forget where I've been, but I can't stand to let you in. And then when we got to the chorus, it's so different. It's not your fault. It wasn't our time. You gave me your heart, and I couldn't give mine. Don't cry, Amjad. I'm opening the curtain. I'm unveiling the logistics behind the song. Don't cry. Don't cry. Nikito and the True Cupcake and Mosul Music, thank you for the follows. Welcome. Welcome. We're talking about songwriting. And so I had the challenge of trying to figure out how to change the key from the G minor down to the D sharp major. And I was like, how am I going to do that? And this song was already so weird that I was like, well, it's 2 completely distinct parts. We have a lot of like really out there experimental bands in Ottawa. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to write a more experimental, less pop sound. Like this song would never be on the radio. This song will never be picked up by the radio at all. So I was like, oh, let's just do something super crazy. Like this chord would never be on the radio. But then that led to a really interesting transition into this new key. So it's fun when you listen to songs. You can hear, especially when there's like these multiple distinct parts. It's usually just you're listening to that artist cobbling together these different ideas, and it's very fun to listen to. There we go. So that was a little bit about Passing Notes. Dunder, are you still crying? Oh, okay. So we have learned a bunch of songs. How many songs did we add to the list today? 4? 5? We added. Oh, Franco, you're so adorable. You got songwriting tips listed under the Now player on Now Playing. I appreciate it so much. Okay, so reminder, stream chats. If you have any questions, we did a ukulele tutorial, we did a singing tutorial, And we just talked about songwriting a little bit and a process for putting that together. So if I can help with more things, there's nothing else left in the stream chats. So please add those questions there so I can prepare things for our Sunday streams together. Art night, for those of you that made any art around our brand new emotes that we have today, which I'm so excited about. I'm gonna explode. I would love to see your art. Please do add it to the Discord.